I'm currently working on 4 baby wraps, all in one warp, and you can see on the floor here are 4 piles of chained warp. These are the 4 bouts or sections of warp that Janet, my partner for Lots and Knots, did. She wound the warp, choosing the colors very carefully, and I think you can see how beautifully colorful this warp is going to be. And this is going to be 4 baby wraps. We have 4 mamas who are patiently waiting for this to get on the loom and subsequently woven. Each wrap is going to be about 3.6 meters. And what I'm doing here is I have slayed the reed in advance. This is what you do going front to back. And I am tying the new warp onto the warp that was previously on the loom for another baby wrap. And it's in a 1, 2, 3, 4 straight draw pattern, which I can use for either plain weave or for twill, depending on what I'm wanting to do. And after I get this on the loom and onto the back beam, which you can see back there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some sampling and see how it looks. But it's a very colorful warp, and so I'm probably going to do plain weave, and then for the middle marker I'll do about a 1/2 inch of twill to make it easier to find the middle. I'm tying on thread by thread. One of the problems I ran into was I discovered 2 threads that had not been tied on when I thought I was finished with this bout. So in this situation, I'm doing it a little differently. My warp that is the pink and green, the candy cane baby wrap that I finished about a week ago, is 580 ends. It's a thicker yarn. And now I'm using 8/2 cotton and 680 ends. And I'm tying on and then pulling the ends through, and I'm cutting off the old warp and tying on the new warp, doing it as evenly as possible. Then once I have it completely tied on, I will wind it all onto the back beam, then bring it back through the reed. It'll stay in the reed as it's being wound onto the back beam, tie it onto the front, and I'll be able to start weaving. I ran into a little problem. Problems come up now and again, and it's better to catch them when you're threading than when you're sitting at the loom weaving your sample. And I discovered that I had left 2 threads out when I was threading. So now I'm going back. I still have about 30 to 35 threads yet to thread through the heddles, because I did pull the new threads through and tie them on the back. Usually what you do is just tie the new warp to the old warp and then beam it onto the back beam. But in this situation, because of the difference between the number of threads, I have to pull the warp all the way through the heddles and then tie the new warp to the back and cut off the old warp. So that's where I'm at the loom right now. And this is my first podcast. I'm going to give this a try and see if this is a little bit of a faster way to stay in touch with everybody who is interested in the progress of the baby wraps of Lots and Knots. I know there are some of you on our waiting list. And this moves a little slowly, but it's going to be worth it, because the tension is what's so important. And this is the best way to guarantee that I'm threaded as perfectly as possible, and to guarantee that I'm able to warp and get these threads on the back beam under tension in an effort to prevent weaving mistakes and to have really good tension in the wrap to make it a really nice, usable wrap. So that's it for now.